I remember when I was a newer photographer,
Mm-hmm.
I did kissing pictures all the time because it was easy. Like, you don't have shadows in the eyes to worry about, which a
Ooh.
lot of photographers don't worry about that, but that's a different topic for another day.
Steffan's going to get salty, everyone. You better watch out.
Yeah.
Welcome to Wedding Podcast with Katie and Steffen. We are back on, because it doesn't matter what day it is. They don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter what day you listen to this.
We really don't know.
Yeah, what day is it? We don't know. It is a Friday, I guess. We could say that.
There you go.
You know, it's just, I feel like it's natural to tell people what day it is.
Yeah.
You know, or like to say, it's a beautiful Friday here in old sunny Illinois, because it is sunny today.
It is. But the day this comes out, it'll be like raining.
Yeah, the day it comes out, it'll be snow. That's just like how it works. But anyway, we are back in action. And as you know, this is season 2. So we are going to kind of talk about some topics that we've already talked in the past, but it's going to be better and more enhanced.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of how you think we should say it?
It's like whenever a drink or food rebrands, it's like
Yeah.
new look, same great taste.
Yeah. Yes. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Pretty much.
In the words of Drake. Drake.
Is that him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Embarrassing if it's not. Sorry, everyone. But we are back because it's engagement season. So people are getting engaged all over my Facebook page. I don't know if you've been experiencing that or not.
I have been seeing it.
You're probably on full alert because I feel like you see engagement and you think, and I guess I do too, but like you immediately
Yeah.
think like, I have to have that wedding. I want to work with that couple.
Yes.
All the things.
When I see that, it's like, oh man, I hope either you reach out to me or my ad hits you.
Yeah, my ad branded. Yeah, I kind of am the same way. It's just kind of like you hope they reach out in a way, or you like. Maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but sometimes I comment on things just so people are like, "Oh, Katie, she works at so-and-so. Maybe she can do our wedding." We all do it, everybody. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not in the wedding industry, you surely do that. If you're like in a sales job or like a service industry style job, we all know you do it. So just fess up now, okay?
Yep.
But it's engagement season, and what comes with engagement is engagement photos. And
True.
I'm going to call Steffen an expert on this, but he's going to get all like blushy and be like, oh my gosh,
No.
I'm not, but he kind of is. So Steffen's a photographer for those that are new to season 2 and have not, I guess, listened to what our backgrounds are in.
Oh yeah.
And it's engagement season and engagement photo season.
The planning of engagement photo season.
Yeah. And I do think that that's maybe like one of the first things that we talk about because we're actually going to talk today about just some tips to have a successful and a great engagement session. So you feel like you leave with really good pictures, because you've got to think, I feel like people almost use their engagement photos these days more than they use their wedding photos.
I've always had that thought, even early on in my photography career.
Yeah.
Is that like your wedding pictures, great.
Beautiful.
You know, obviously you want to remember that day.
Absolutely.
But your engagement pictures, they don't really age, I guess, the way your wedding
age.
pictures.
Yeah.
You know, like 5 years from now, it's like, there's you in your wedding dress. Looks nice, but it's like, we're 5 years married now.
Yeah. Whereas like your engagement photos are like just more you too. You know, they're just more like, I'm wearing something I'm comfortable in, or we're at our first date place, or we're, so they're just a little bit more.
They usually have a little more of a story, or can have more of a story
to
them.
So I love an engagement photo.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
They're so much fun because they're so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And as a photographer or vendor for weddings, it's a great way to build relationships with the couple, and then the couple build a relationship with their photographer.
Absolutely. Well, and I feel like your engagement photos, you kind of use them everywhere. It always cracks me up. You can always tell when people get their first engagement photo session. Well, not first, maybe only. Some people do more than one. I don't know. But that's like the picture that you see on their Instagram, on their Facebook, on their save the date card, on their, it just seems like they start splattering everywhere. They'll get printed for their house or apartment. And so it just kind of cracks me up because, that's just how they roll.
Yeah. And what's also funny is that, and it's kind of good too, but we live in the age of kind of being your own brand.
Yeah. That's a good quote. I like that.
And so these pictures work great for not just your engagement pictures, but if you do have a personal brand, these are great pictures to kind of use in that.
The thing that all the influencers are doing now, it just like puts you over the edge with your professional, photo of the perfect lighting and the perfect, all that stuff.
And I think a lot of that influencer, influence
how many times are we going to say influence today?
A lot. Has really affected engagement pictures because people want to have pictures like what they're used to seeing. And that's not to say that people don't want to stay local to get engagement pictures right where they live. And that's great because you don't have to go far. But if you can have pictures on a mountaintop. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Or like your favorite like sports arena or where you had your first date or I mean, I'm probably going to bring this up a million times today. So, I mean, let's just talk about location first being one of our very first tips. Steffen, just so you all know, fun fact, has done an engagement shoot at maybe one of my favorite restaurants. No, it's not one of my favorite restaurants. I mean, I love it, but Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
That's the creativity I want in an engagement session.
I love that. So that was actually one of my friends, and he is probably the sole reason why Taco Bell is still profitable. I mean, it's
every meal.
It's wild. And so when we were talking about engagement pictures, I mean, we all knew that Taco Bell was going to happen. It had to happen because
it sounds like.
And both of them got into it. They had little signs that said, "I'm his taco mama" or something like that. Oh my gosh.
You could use like the sauces.
Yeah.
Like put your engagement ring by the sauces and stuff. Like, I mean, like that's just like so cool.
Yeah. It was fun. We did kind of a date style session with some tacos and then some pictures out in front. And then I posted it on Instagram and Taco Bell's official Instagram liked and commented on it.
That's the best. But I think, just going off of Taco Bell, even though, I mean, we could talk about tacos for hours on this podcast. We're not a YouTube channel. I mean, we kind of are. Whoa, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. Big time.
Watch us on YouTube. Location is where I feel like you can really get creative with your engagement photos.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like sitting down and talking not only with, your significant other, but also talking with your photographer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's probably your time to like really be like, guys, I've been thinking about this forever. We need to do it. Let's climb Everest and take your engagement photos.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, with me, I'm always open to it. And I'm sure most other photographers are, but don't feel like any idea is too crazy.
Right.
Because you never know. I mean, photographers, I mean, of course, like I said, staying local is great because we don't have to drive far. But any of us, if we get an opportunity to photograph a new location that's just magical, we will make it happen.
Done and done.
And so don't be afraid. And this is where I think the two of you, you and your fiance sit down and just kind of spitball ideas.
Right.
And, I mean, typically the guys aren't like chomping at the bits to have their engagement pictures taken.
Yeah.
However, they have things that they like.
Right.
Maybe it's baseball and they're Cardinal fans.
So you've done several at Busch Stadium.
And like, I mean, it's so funny because a lot of the guys that I photograph there, they are the types that are like, whatever, just take the pictures.
I hate photos.
Yeah. But when they walk into the stadium, they are all about pictures.
Yeah.
And, it gets them involved.
Yeah.
It's an idea that they like.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go outside of the stadium, do some more downtown or in the parks, and they're still fired up.
Yeah.
And So
pump it up, pump that engagement session up.
But even if they are, maybe they are the type that they do want some pictures. Right. I mean, this is a great time to just kind of go over some ideas. Like, where do you like to travel? Where would you like to travel?
Absolutely.
I mean, even if you've not been there.
Absolutely. But I feel like too, like if they're like, you know what, our dream is to go to Colorado. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can't go to Colorado for your engagement session because maybe that's just a little extreme. But like you as a photographer could probably scope out somewhere that has that Colorado feel. Or that probably helps you, say, okay, this is kind of the look they're going for. Here's some options. Here's some ideas. Here's, a color scheme or whatever.
Yeah, because at least with that, example here in Illinois, if we just go a couple hours south to Garden of the Gods.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's not mountains, but it's got that, there's plenty of ledges.
It's got the vast landscaping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a good, you won't feel like you missed out having to settle going that direction. And regardless of where you are, there are options. And so, I think that's a great idea to at least bring those ideas up. Like we would, maybe we visited this area. We can't afford to go there, but we would like to mimic this.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And such a great idea.
And of course, keep it, kind of keep an open mind, keep it reasonable. I mean, if you visited Italy and you're like, oh, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like, well,
we'll try our best. You could take them to like a winery or something like that. Usually those have that like Tuscan kind of look, something like that. But I think location can really put your engagement photos over the top.
For sure.
My second tip, and we actually are going to record an entire podcast on this. So this is coming soon. And by coming soon, I mean, I don't really know when, but in the next few episodes, wear something that you are comfortable in, regardless if it's a long sleeve shirt, comfortable shoes. Maybe you wear your hair in a ponytail every day and that's just what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Be yourself and be comfortable, because that's when your photos are not going to be what you want them to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just feel like, and girls, I mean, I'm going to call myself out. I'm going to look right at the camera and say, I've done this myself. So guilty as charged. But don't wear shoes that you can't walk in. You wouldn't normally wear those.
Yeah.
Don't wear, I get that, maybe you want a little fancier outfit or something like that. But if you sit down in a dress and you cannot breathe, do not wear it for your engagement photos, because it's going to come through in your photos. Don't put yourself out of your comfort zone just because you feel like that makes you look better, because I really don't think in the end it's going to be what you want it to be. Yeah.
And, if it's not something you wear or even feel comfortable in, you're not going to recognize yourself.
No.
And that might, I mean, it could have a positive effect, but I doubt it.
Could have a positive effect, but not.
I feel like there's probably a situation where it's like, oh yeah, I look lit. But I feel I
look so good.
Yeah, but I feel like for the most part, at least what I have seen personally, because I've had engagement sessions where they tried out a new outfit and they hated how they looked, because that's not how they dress.
Yeah.
And I get that with engagement pictures, sometimes you want to have more of a dressier shot.
A sport coat for a guy or a tie or a
but still keep it within what you would wear
your
to
comfort zone.
A fancy business party or a wedding. I guess
absolutely. I mean, you could go. I've seen some beautiful photos of girls in long gowns and things like that, but you can tell that it's a gown that they're like can move in and is flowy, and so that's I think a bad thing about Instagram these days is you see all of these influencers that have these beautiful outfits on, or all of these accessories and stuff like that in these photos, but like don't try to be that. Don't try to be them, try to be you.
Yeah, and a lot of these
inspirational quote.
Maybe.
Boom.
And a lot of these bigger influencers who actually have some money and some real influence probably have a team behind them that help style them. So, I mean, if you want to get somebody to style you, whether it's body type or personality, whatever, they'll be able to help style you in a way that maybe you don't normally dress, but it really fits who you are.
And maybe the vibe that you have going.
So if you have a stylist, then sure.
Because you can find those where we're from. We live in Central Illinois, and they have them everywhere. Everywhere.
Every corner.
I was going to say, Steffen probably has more on like what to wear and not to wear, which... Again, we won't go into
it's more in line. Yeah.
Yeah. But my also other tip is about, you kind of brought it up, is the professional hair and makeup.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of girls really get into that, and it's like their time to treat themselves, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong about that, because if I could get my hair professionally done and my makeup done every day. I mean, clearly I'm looking so good today in my messy bun with my headband. I would, but I feel like if you've not had that done to you before, be cautious.
Yeah.
They could really make you look like something that you're not. And though maybe, that's pretty to you, or maybe you feel beautiful, like I just be cautious, because it could be a lot more makeup than you're used to, or a darker eye, or more lipstick, or more curls, and that's, I don't think you want to look at your engagement photos and say, wow, I didn't even look like that on a day-to-day basis, like that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm all for a little bit of, I don't know what the wording would be, a little bit of polishing touch up. Yeah. That's all stuff I do in editing. Yeah. But
we'll Photoshop it for you.
Yeah. But at the same time, I and this is just my opinion as one photographer, but I am one that when people look at your pictures, I want them to say, oh yeah, that's them. Yeah. I don't want them to say, oh wow, you clean up so nicely.
Yeah.
If they're saying that, like, that means that this is not a way that they ever see you.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think, be you is probably most important. And I think along with that, if you are kind of like ultra trendy, ultra stylish, and your fiance is just kind of a simple being, I think it would benefit both of you to kind of meet in the middle.
Agree.
Don't have the one who's pretty simple go full on trendy.
Yeah.
But you don't go full on simple.
Right.
Kind of meet in the middle, because if one of you is ultra trendy and the other one's simple, one looks just like,
one's going to be a standout.
Oh,
it's not going to be a couple shoot at that point. It's going to be like somebody looking awesome and somebody in the background, kind of.
Yep.
Like, oh, look how stylish he looks. Who's that girl? Like, it's not cohesive, I guess.
Because I've seen that before, and it just doesn't feel right.
Right.
Like, it's just like, it feels like somebody is walking in the background. It's like excuse me, can you get out of the picture?
Yeah, like they're photobombing it.
Why you keep putting your arm around her?
Quit it. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more tips on engagement sessions.
Boom. All right. And we're back.
So we are talking about engagement photos. So I'm going to let you, just cracks me up because, Steffen and I do see each other, but we don't see each other.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that. But we were just talking about other tips and tricks. So I'm going to let him kind of talk about his first.
Yeah, I think just kind of expanding on what we were talking about before the break.
Yeah.
Keeping it real, being you. And I guess more with that, with your engagement photos, to not be so concerned about them matching the theme, the look, the overall vibe of your wedding. They don't have to.
Yeah. So you're saying, like, I'm putting this into kindergarten terms. I use that term a lot on here because sometimes I need things simplified. So you're saying because they're getting married on a beach, they don't have to do beach vibe photographs.
Correct.
Engagement photos. Okay, I agree with that, but I just want to make sure.
And around here, a lot of times, fall being as popular as it is, a lot of times they want fall engagement pictures. Yeah. And I understand why. I mean, it's amazing.
Fall is the most beautiful time in Illinois. If you don't live in Illinois, there's probably a time in your area that you're just like, the outside's beautiful, the sun's great, the weather is pretty predictable. In Illinois, that's fall.
Yeah. And so your engagement pictures don't necessarily have to be fall just because your wedding pictures are fall.
Sure.
And I get that some people want to use their engagement pictures at the wedding as decoration.
Like a slideshow or whatever.
But I mean, there are black and white pictures. Those match any time of the year.
I love a black and white photo.
Oh, me too.
Sometimes I feel like they're more flattering.
I think so.
But that also comes from somebody that I wear a lot of black. So
I guess if you're a bold color person,
then you wouldn't like them. Bold colors are just not my thing, but man, I wish I could rock them like other people do.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of works on, you were kind of talking about like fall time and things like that. What do you think is the best time of year, or like what's the timeline you feel like for engagement photos? I guess not time of year. I'm not saying that correct.
Yeah. So when to have them taken
like
prior to your
6
wedding?
6 months before? Is it 9 months before? Is it?
I say at least 6 to 9 months before your wedding.
Yeah.
A year at times. Anything over a year might be a little too much.
Well, I feel like you change too much. I mean, we're not like, like your children. Every time I see them, I feel like they're different looking, but they're so young. Yeah. Whereas like, we don't change that much in a year, but what if you had blue hair at your engagement photos and you have pink hair at your wedding? Like that's, just something kind of consistent.
I would say if you are planning a destination engagement session, that might be the only time it would be acceptable to go beyond a year.
Yeah.
But most engagement sessions are 12 to 18 months, or engagements are 12 to 18 months. So
I think 6 to 9 is a great time. And then
lets you enjoy the photos a little. I've done a lot that are in the 1 to 3 month range before the wedding, and it works, but
it's probably a little stressful.
It's just like they get their pictures. A couple of them where they did it shortly before the wedding, they got their engagement pictures after the ceremony.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if it's that close, I mean, it's not like, so here's the joke between Steffen and I. So he does photos for the restaurant that I work for. And I'm always like, can I get those back in 24 hours? And he's like, no. Or, I mean, he usually does it. Actually, I will give him the step there. But engagement photos, you're not going to take them one day and get them back the next day. There is editing. There's, all kinds of things that you need to do before.
Yeah.
Before you give them back. So a little farther out too gives you just a little bit more time to enjoy them.
For sure.
Before you get the new batch of wedding photos.
Yep. Yeah.
So speaking of timing, this kind of is a tip that I have. And this is why, honestly, I mean, a biggest tip that I have, I think, is hiring a professional photographer, which most people do these days.
Yeah.
But when working with a professional photographer, I think using their expertise in terms of time of day, or, basically just for sunlight.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants that natural light now. You know what I mean? There's filters and presets and all that give us the natural light when you don't take a natural light photo.
Yep.
And so I feel like a photographer will know that. They'll know.
For sure.
What time sunset is, or maybe sunset's not a good time to take pictures that time of year, or, maybe noon's going to be the best lighting. I feel like working with your photographer is really going to, number one, make them look more natural. You don't have to get that. You don't have to edit them as much, I would think. I mean, I know nothing about photo editing.
When the lighting is great, it does decrease the editing time.
Yeah, so that could help with a little turnaround for you brides. That could be a fun little tip.
That noon light is going to cast some harsh shadows in the eyes.
Sure.
And so, I mean, as long as your photographer is good, they'll be able to get those shadows out in camera, not in post.
Not in post. Yeah, because I mean, you want that to be the moment you capture, not the thing that you Photoshop.
Yeah.
And you don't want. I have tiny little like almond eyes, and I just feel like they're very. Well, I just feel like they're very thin. When I smile, my eyes are very thin. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't want my engagement photos to be me squinting in addition to me smiling. So that's kind of some stuff that you can work out with your photographer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of photographers, I mean, as they work with you, I mean, that's a great thing about engagement pictures. They're going to get to know you, kind of how your face works.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because some people, when they smile, their eyes do go away. And sometimes, maybe we're not going to have you look at the camera and smile, which most engagement sessions are that way anyway. It's usually the couple looking at each other. It's more of a moment rather than look at the camera and say, geez.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I just feel like you really need to work off your photographer with that one. Like, use their expertise. That is what you are paying them for, is not only beautiful pictures, but knowing how to give you the best pictures for your money.
Yeah. And I guess with that said, don't be afraid to tell them maybe some things, like that. Like, hey, when I smile, my eyes go away. Yeah. That way they know, it's not like this awkward thing. Like, they just go ahead and take your pictures knowing I can't see. And then at the end, you're like, I can't see my eyes in any of the pictures. Like, oh.
Well, I feel like it's prep too for that big day. We've talked about that before on this podcast.
For sure.
Getting to know your photographer and feeling comfortable with them. That's all. This is all part of the process. They'll know you, so you'll learn more about their facial features and what they're comfortable doing. And they're going to be more comfortable with saying, hey, we don't want to do that, or we do want to do this, or that kind of stuff.
And I think along with that, if you're, because we kind of talked about this in the break, if you're not like the lovey cuddle up type, that would be something to let your photographer know, because a lot of photographers anymore are going for that trendy, like, close up, all cuddled up, because that's what every couple does all the time.
You mean you're telling me that you and your wife, Steffen, don't have like picnics in the park on a Saturday with cuddly animals running around you and your Starbucks coffee and your packed picnic lunch, laying in each other's arms and looking at into each other's eyes and getting lost? You don't do that?
Half naked too.
Oh yeah,
that's the other thing.
No clothing. Yeah, in public. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
We do. That's
what you guys do in your free time. Cool.
Yeah.
Because you have so much free time with your 2 children. But we're sleeping right now.
Those pictures look amazing, but it's just, if that's not who you are,
don't do that.
Your photographer, even if that's what they show a lot of, there's a lot that they don't show, and they probably do a lot of, that's gonna appeal to you two as a couple. Yeah. And
what are your thoughts on kissing pictures? That kind of goes hand in hand with what we've just been talking about.
I get it. You're engaged. You're in love.
You're in love.
I think I remember when I was a newer photographer, I did kissing pictures all the time because it was easy. Like, you don't have shadows in the eyes to worry about. Ooh. Which a lot of photographers don't worry about that, but that's a different topic for another day.
Steffen's going to get salty, everyone. You better watch out. Just kidding.
Harsh shadows are not that good. Yeah. Sometimes, but anyway. But when I was newer, I did kissing pictures all the time. Just because it was an easy pose to do.
Do you feel like you just didn't know what to tell them to do? So you were just like, kiss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was either look at the camera or kiss.
I just feel like that's my worst nightmare. And if you're out there and you're very lovey-dovey and you're into that stuff, like, we're not
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Do whatever you want. Yeah. But like, to me, what do you do with a kissing picture?
Yeah. Are you going to print it off as a 40 by 60 on your...
I just wouldn't want a kiss picture of me kissing my husband, fiance, significant other, whatever, on a huge canvas in my living room. But maybe people do, and then we're gonna get spammed with all these pictures, and people are gonna be like, don't hate on this because look how pretty this
show
is.
Us if
we love that. We love that.
But it's not that I'm totally against it. I still do kissing pictures, but a lot of times I try and I feel like a lot more photographers as well, trying to aim more for those sweet moment kisses, kissing on the cheek, the ear, the head, just kind of like stuff that would be a little more natural in public. Back. Yeah. If you're the PDA type, kissing is not going to be a problem. Sure. And that's going to fit within your pictures, but for a lot of people,
and people are probably going to know that about you, like if somebody saw a picture of me kissing somebody, they'd be like, Katie, what is wrong with you? Whereas like I have friends that they're just very open with that kind of stuff, and I wouldn't think anything of it.
Yep.
So,
and when you are doing kissing pictures, and this would be more of a tip for the couples, when your photographer tells you to kiss, that doesn't mean it's time to make out and get a lot of tongue action in there. That happens so much, and it's so awkward. Like,
well, and I also I'm a different spectrum of that. It's not like you need to like push your lip, like, like for those of you that are watching like this. That's not a real kiss. That is not a real kiss. Like, come on. Come on, people. The more natural, the better.
It's like 8th grade dance.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely did that. I'll just tell you, I absolutely was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this boy. I'm in 6th grade and I'm gonna kiss him on the cheek.
Yep. Yep.
The past is coming out. The past is coming out.
Maybe I need to do a video how to kiss during it.
That'd be awkward. Anyway, my only other tip, and I'm sure Steffen's going to have a little say on this too. I was actually having coffee with somebody today, and they were talking about their wedding or their engagement photos. And she said her biggest regret was not taking off her Apple Watch. And we all wear Apple Watches or Garmin watches, or, I mean, they have so many different ones now. I mean, and they're all really cool in their own way, but she said that's all she sees in her pictures. Like, you know, because you use your hands a lot in engagement photos. You know, you're holding hands. You're maybe, you know, arms around shoulders or arms on, you know, each other's waists or whatever. And she said the whole time, she was like, I just flip through all of my photos. And she said, they're really pretty. But she said, that's the one thing that I look at. And she even said, she was like, I had a nicer band on my watch. And she didn't even think about it because it's like attached to her, you know, like your phone. I always have my phone. It's sitting right here as I do this podcast. But that's all she sees. So I think just thinking of those things.
Yeah.
You know, or if you're a photographer, like if you as a photographer, if you're like, hey, did you want to take off your Apple Watch? Don't be offended by that kind of stuff. The photographer is thinking ahead. Yeah. And they know.
Yeah. And I think that's where the photographer, you know, they should ask, you know, because some people may want to keep it on.
Absolutely. Which is fine.
Attached to us.
Yeah. And, that's who you are. We're talking about being natural. That's what you are.
And then, oh no, I want to keep it on. Okay, great.
Cool.
But if, like in that situation, the photographer would have been like, hey, did you want to keep your watch on the whole time?
Yeah.
And then it would have been something like, oh, I didn't even realize I had it on.
Yeah.
Same with a phone in the pocket.
Phone in the pocket, yeah. Or a guy's wallet. Like those kind of things are just little tidbits that you think don't mean anything. But sometimes when you look at a certain picture, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that picture is so cool. But all I can see is.
Yep. And it's so easy to miss it even as a photographer.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of times I'm so focused on their faces and getting the candid moment.
Yeah.
There's my first traveling session in Denver. We're in the Rocky Mountains. I didn't even notice the sunglasses in his back pocket.
Oh.
Fortunately, that was an easy Photoshop fix.
Easy Photoshop fix.
But if it were, you know, with how massive phones are today, if it's
like an iPad,
if it's an iPad in your jeans pocket, that's a little harder to Photoshop out than glasses that are dangling out the back. And so I think there needs to be, you know, some understanding from both parties there that, you know, if the photographer asks, it's not that they, you know, that they think these pictures are ruined because of the watch. They've probably had experiences where they were upset that they had the watch. Right. But also,
and it can be anything, again.
Having grace on the photographer, too.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
If you see, like, for example, the sunglasses in the back pocket, they can Photoshop that out.
Yeah.
You know, we can fix a lot of problems.
Right.
Just say, hey, we really love this picture, but we noticed the glasses. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
I'll Photoshop it out.
Give them a break.
No big deal.
Give them a break for sure. Somebody coming down here right now?
Oh, I don't.
I thought maybe our next guest was here.
I don't know.
Or is that your chitlins?
It was my. No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I hit my foot on the ground.
Oh, maybe that was it.
I don't know.
I'm on like full alert around here, so
you hear a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Because I have the headphones on.
Because you have headphones on and I don't. Well, do you have anything else, Steffen? I know Steffen has the best perspective because it comes from a photographer. But.
My last one, it just kind of ties in with a lot of what we talked about, but engagement pictures, in my opinion, are not only a time to grow a relationship with your photographer and photographer with the couple, but it's also an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, whether it's a destination or doing pictures on your family farm's ground, make it an experience.
Yeah, I like that.
Because it's something like when you look at these pictures, like your wedding pictures, obviously that's an experience that
for sure that's
you're
like
going to be
a whole lifetime.
About.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your engagement pictures should be similar. Like when you look at them, when your friends look at them, oh, let me tell you the story behind this picture.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why we went here.
Yeah.
You know, that makes photography like, I mean, that's what photography is. It's a story. And so I think, you know, that get creative with them. You know, you don't have to just go to the park down the road just because, well, that's what everybody else does.
Right. Right.
Like this is your time.
It's your time.
Have some fun with it.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. We hope that this was super helpful. Engagement photos are so fun. So take these and just really do what you want with them, but I really think that they're going to make your experience so much better. And we appreciate you listening to us. Again, we are Katie and Steffen, a wedding podcast. We post new episodes every Friday.
Yep.
And they
iTunes
can find us
on Spotify and YouTube
and the iHeartRadio app as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So if hopefully you're out there and you're either getting married or maybe you've already been married or maybe you're trying to trick that significant other into giving you that ring. But we hope that everything we talk about on here is super helpful and more episodes are coming very soon.
Yep.
So have a wonderful day.
Bye.